target audience for our production is an audience of any age, but predominantly students and parents. As an ensemble, we want to encourage students to get into acting more and parents to appreciate the arts. I think that the audience will expect to see acting with an unusual language that they won't understand because they know it is The Tempest. They want to come out of the performance feeling like they've seen something new that they don't expect. However, they won't expect that there is a modern twist on the show that involves more movement. I think that they want to feel like this because they won't want to see a show that they've already seen before, as they might get bored. The audience has a rough idea on what the performance will entail, as the students who are in the show have invited them. I have used a lot of facial expression in communicating to the audience. When I was on the side of the stage, I kept a very emotionless expression to show that I was entranced. When I was on the stage, I used the emotion from the songs in my face. In the closing scene, when we were on the floor and holding our hands up, I kept my focus on my hand the entire time to show that I am missing someone. I also used a lot of impulse in the scenes. I have chosen to use facial expression more to communicate to the audience because the audience are literally right in front of the performance space, fully immersed in the performance. The audience can see every expression because they are nearer, so can relate to the emotions more. We also used a lot of lighting and projection in the performance to enhance the viewer's experience, making them feel more immersed. Prospero's face showed up on a projector screen, and there was also a scene based around 3D chess. We chose to use projections and lighting to communicate with the audience because they will be up close to the performers and it will make them feel more involved and make the show more interesting. We also had identical makeup similar to a skull which matched our white tops and black leggings. This was done to communicate that we were all the same, and in my opinion, this showed that we were all in danger. It also made the audience a bit intimidated when I made eye contact with them, adding to the effect of the show. The techniques I used were different to what would be seen in a usual theatre show, and I think that my techniques were different because they are not techniques that the audience would usually expect to see. For example, in the original version of The Tempest, a lot of dialogue and movement was used, but more in a conventional way. The show would not have had impulses, but it would have still had dance and music. For example, in Shakespeare's time, they would use real-life cannons to produce the sound of thunder, whereas in our show, we actually used speakers to produce the sound effects. I've chosen these techniques to be different and to give a modern twist of The Tempest. The target audience are students and parents, so we wanted to produce a fun and different take on the show and to surprise people. So, what did the audience think? After interviewing some audience members, I received positive feedback. I asked what techniques were most effective for communicating to the audience, and I was told that the way we used talcum powder was unusual and made the show more exciting. This technique was more effective than other techniques you used because talcum powder isn't usually used in a show, so it made it a bit unusual but interesting. I was also told that the projections used in the show were cool, and the chess scene was clever how the dancers moved with the projection and in time with the music. This technique was similar to something you would see in a physical theatre performance but confused me during the show. I wasn't sure what was happening. It was clever though. I was also told that the white floor and sheets surrounding the stage made the performers stand out more. In the future, I would include a lot more dialogue as the play itself had a lot of people confused. Someone said that they had a rough idea about what was going on but didn't understand how the performance linked with The Tempest. I'd also recommend giving each character a certain prop or costume that would resemble them, as most audience members weren't sure who was who. Somebody I asked said, "I knew the area was two different people, but I didn't understand if Prospero was played by one person or two people."